Hey everybody, it's Rajesh here.
Intane here.
Welcome to our podcast, Baskets of Knowledge, Chats with a Difference. In our podcast, we invite guests from around the country and around the world to talk about how they got to where they're at the moment. It's about a journey, it's about an experience, it's about their life. Kia ora everybody, welcome to another episode of Baskets of Knowledge. It's pretty crazy that, as we said last time, the year is flying by crazy fast. It's already March, and Tane is not available at the moment, but I'm sure he'll join us at some point. As always, we like to share a bit of learning that we've had over the week, and my learning this week was I listened to an episode of, I think, a podcast or a show. I don't know what it was, but it was something. I went to some training, and they spoke about having a goal, and it's all good to have a goal, which is fantastic. We'll have goals, but they was talking about if you don't know what the purpose of the goal, your goal is going to fail. And that just stopped me to think about, right, cool, yeah, we all set these crazy goals to do things here, but until we understand what our why and our purpose is, this is why we end up failing or not doing the best that we can. So it just got me thinking about that there. So as you think about that today and think about your goals, I'd love you to think about what your purpose is for your goal. Are you doing it because you have an internal purpose, or are you doing it because you should or could or would have? As always, we like to scour the country and scour the world to bring on guests that we think are pretty amazing. As you all know, we think everyone is amazing. We think everyone is fantastic and we've got a story to tell. But as always, we don't have funding for this year, so we can't interview everybody. But today's guest, I'm really, really excited to have today's guest on. A crazy, crazy story about how this guest got on the podcast. I was on a plane a few months ago speaking to a person next to me, and we just started talking about life and just things, I guess. And I spoke to him and said, "Oh, I run a podcast." And this person next to me happened to be a professor at the university. And he said to me, "Hi, I've got some amazing people in my lab that have got some great stories." And he said, "Send me an email and we'll get some people on." So I sent this email out, and today's guest kind of responded. But here's a crazy thing about today's guest. It is someone that I actually met almost 7 or 8 years ago, and quite a full story. It wasn't a full circle story. It wasn't planned. It wasn't expected. It's just happened. So it's really cool to have our guest on. So hopefully you enjoyed today's podcast. Hopefully you learned some things. And as always, thank you for those of you that have jumped on and listened regularly. Welcome to our podcast, Peter.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic, Peter. Awesome. So, Peter, what a crazy full circle story, hey, when we realized that we actually knew each other from a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, when you just emailed me, like, do I know you? It was just crazy. It was just like I looked through my emails and I saw your name again. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah, as
well,
the
glad you
liaison officer.
yeah. Glad you didn't delete my emails all from all those years ago. That's pretty crazy.
No, 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 I
All right,
just kept
Peter.
the same email. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Peter, so for listeners who know nothing about you, tell us who you are and what you're doing at this moment in time.
So yeah, my name's Peter Remoto. I'm currently a PhD student of under the professor you just mentioned, Keith Gordon. And yeah, I'm a student of the University of Otago. So I was born in the Philippines, and then I moved here around about when I was 12, I think. Yeah, it was 12, and grew up in Hawera, Taranaki as a teenager, and that's where I met you. And from there, I decided to go to Otago Uni and did my undergrad here and masters. Then, yeah, and here we are today.
Crazy, crazy. So there's lots of things for us to go down. I think the first thing I'm going to ask you is, Peter, when I met you all those years ago, and if I said to you, "Hey, Peter, you'll be doing a PhD in chemistry," what would you have said to me at that point in time, all those years ago?
Um, Back then, I didn't really know what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
because I think I was thinking about going to Auckland to
yeah,
become an engineer, but I had this science teacher. Um, Her name's Deborah Fern, and she actually bought me tickets to go to Otago, because uh, I applied for this outreach thing called what was it called?
Science
The
Science Academy.
the Science Academy. Yeah,
Yes.
and met a bunch of cool people here, and I really loved the vibes and the environment. So I thought, yeah, I wanted to go to Otago from there. after that visit. Uh, and and yeah, and when you came around, I was asking like, how do I do a double major in physics and chemistry? And you just said, slow down. Maybe you want to just pick one major and then make that other one a minor, and then you can change it up later. And yeah, it actually helped because I actually liked chemistry more in the end. So yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And now that you're doing your PhD, if you think back and go, wow, that was quite a crazy journey from not knowing what I wanted to do now, becoming really specific in exactly, a space that you really want to do stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty crazy. And let's go back a little bit. So, Greg, growing up in the Philippines, how was it like when you moved from the Philippines? Were you in a busy city in Philippines, a big city, or was it a small place?
Semi busy. Um,
Yep,
uh, I don't really, oh, I can't really remember much.
that's
Uh,
right. Yeah,
but yeah, I had heaps of friends back then, and it was sad leaving them. But how different it was from here was it's just the temperature at first. It just
yep,
like the airport doors open, and it just felt like a fridge.
yep,
Because I came here around about winter, so
yep.
that's how different it was. And yeah, the and went to Hawera Intermediate from there on. So and yeah, it was yeah the people were quite nice. And but I didn't really know what I was expecting because I didn't even know rugby existed before coming here. So so yeah, that was quite
Yeah.
interesting.
And was it a sport that you got involved in, or was it a sport that you
Yeah, yeah,
expect? Yeah.
yeah. I tried it out in high school because a friend of mine introduced me to it. So and then I just liked it from there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. And what can I go back and ask? What brought your parents to Howard of all places?
So mum's a nurse.
Yeah,
She moved to Taranaki for I think for a job, and and then she just yeah brought us over.
yeah. And how many siblings do you have, Peter?
I have three. I have
All right.
three siblings. Two sisters and one brother.
Oh, fantastic. And were you the
Yeah.
oldest, or were you?
I was the middle child, the third one. So
All right, the third one. Oh, so yeah, oh, the fun one, hey, the fun one. So
yeah,
so
the fun one.
before you came to university, did your siblings go to university as well, or tertiary, or what did they do?
So my older sister, she was already going to uni in the Philippines.
Oh, yes, okay.
She was studying medicine there. And yeah, my brother, um, when he came around here, he was in high school,
Yes.
and then he moved on to uni shortly after. My younger sister, she's also at uni in Otago, studying medicine. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
great, great. And so university study is something that's really important for you and your family. Is it a big thing, or is it something that you all just drove by yourselves?
Um, I guess we just kind of chose it for ourselves because well, my sisters always liked medicine
Yes.
and and all that biological stuff. Um, my older brother, he liked engineering, so he went on to Auckland. And yeah, I was also thinking going to Auckland, but yeah, I for engineering, but I decided on physics and chemistry instead, and just math. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, crazy. What a whole different path to go down. What is it like for you moving to Dunedin for the first time, when you left home from Taranaki?
Uh, so moving down in Dunedin, it was already great because I already met some people from down
Yeah.
here when in
Yes.
my first visit because of the outreach.
Yes.
So that was already so that was great having people already here. But but yeah, didn't really know anyone, so there's so much things to explore. And I went to the first year halls called Hayward College,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've met a bunch of my friends from there,
Yeah.
and and my girlfriend actually. So
Oh. Oh, crazy. What a crazy, crazy cool
yeah.
story. And when did you know that chemistry was the thing that you really wanted to get into?
Um, so all throughout undergrad, I was always picking and choosing between chemistry and physics,
Yeah.
and uh, it's quite annoying because sometimes it clashes, like the timetables. But it, I just talked to the people that coordinate the course, and they said, yeah, just show up and watch the recordings. Um, every like just alternate, and it worked out pretty well. And I um yeah, I really like physics, and but chemistry is just really cool because on how they make things and visualize things actually, and to make a to predict stuff. So um and around about third year is when I was introduced um to research. So that's when I first uh went in the Keith Gordon group to help around with the research. And yeah, from there, I just really liked it.
Really awesome. And so you went from your undergrad to your master's, is that correct? Or did you have a bit of an honors year? How did you go? How did you do your stepping stone?
Yeah, so I did undergrad and then I went to honors,
Yes.
and then from there, I was asked, "Do you want to do a PhD?" And I said, I don't know,"
Yeah.
because I don't know if I was ready. So so I picked a master's year to get more to get a taste bit more taste of research, and then from the end of that, I guess I got asked again, "Do you want to do a PhD?" And I said, uh, I want to have experience in industry first. So I got connected to these people in Hamilton um, to for a 6 month internship, and after that, I was quite satisfied in my experience and thought I want to learn more of this the subject I'm in, and yeah, now doing a PhD.
Crazy. I asked that question there because a lot of people don't understand how the process actually works. It's pretty cool that you went through the honors, then you were not too sure, and you did the masters and did some work
Yeah,
experience because you don't know what you don't know, and it's pretty cool that you figured out what you want to do as you were doing things. Let's talk about some of the cool projects. So tell us about your master's project. What did you do in your master's project?
yeah. So in my master's project, I used spectroscopy, so the study of light, the interaction of light with matter. So we use lasers to measure materials, and you can get all sorts of information from that, like the composition of materials, what type of materials it is, based on the chemical vibrations of the material. Um, so yeah, and specifically, we use Raman spectroscopy and near infrared spectroscopy. Yeah,
What
and
is
my
that? What is Raman spectroscopy? I have no idea what that is. If someone is a lay
ah
person, what would you say to them?
so Raman spectroscopy is basically just a laser. Once it hits a sample, well, once light uh, hits a sample, it can inelastically scatter. So, for example, elastic scattering is um, when an object hits another object and the energy doesn't change.
Yep.
Inelastic scattering, well, the energy changes after the scattering. An example of elastic scattering is when the sun hits the atmosphere, it elastically scatters and creates the blue color in the sky. Um, but Raman spectroscopy is quite a very rare event. I think it's like one in a million.
Oh wow.
Um, and from there, you can get uh, since it's the inelastic scattering is specific to specific materials, you can get uh, yeah, you can get information off of the samples from there. So that's what ramen scattering is. Hope I didn't butcher that.
Oh, we'll
Yeah.
find out soon, hey, when your supervisor listens to this. I'm
Oh,
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
okay.
Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding. What about your PhD? What are you looking into your PhD? So actually, let's go back. What did you do when you went to work in industry for a little bit? So did you take the knowledge that you had and was it applicable to industry, or was it, sometimes you learn all the stuff here, then you go to industry and then go like, actually, what are you talking about? Let's start from scratch. What is it like for you?
So it was I think it was a bit special for me because I was hired by that particular company for specific for inline quality
Yes.
monitoring. Um, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about the specifics, but basically they hired me for inline quality monitoring of materials. So they have a manufacturing process, and as it's coming out of the um, of the device, they want to know the how uniform the dispersion of the specific material is inside this other specific material. So
Yes.
basically, making sure that agglomerates don't just show up, and they are making what they are making um, uh, instantly in real time, because there's other methods to do it as well, but it takes time, coordination with other specialists for that, and yeah. So basically, I was just hired to put a near infrared spectrometer in, and then um, make sure the quality's all correct. Yeah.
All right, cool, awesome. And when did you decide? When did you realize actually I want to go and do more study? So you're doing this stuff, you're obviously earning money. And you're like, oh, this is great. And then when do you go? Actually, I need to go back and do more study.
um, when I realized um when I need to learn more
Yeah,
because there's so much things to learn, and um the best way I think it's really good to learn through a PhD
yeah,
because there you're forced to learn about new things and towards this uh, I guess the novel thing you're trying to research. But for industry, you're already using what you already know. You, although I was in research and development, I feel like I can learn a bit more with the specific things I was learning uh,
yeah.
with spectroscopy with a PhD back here. So that's why I came back. I was definitely learning
Okay,
in Hamilton with a bunch of with what they were teaching me. But yeah, to up my level in spectroscopy, I think
awesome.
under the experts is
Yeah.
the way to go.
That makes so much sense. People say, why would you do a PhD? And there's lots of reasons to do a PhD. One is just because you want to do more research, and others is because you want to learn more. And obviously, in your case, as I say, I want to learn a lot more. And at the same time, you're doing research, so win-win for everybody, which is really really cool. We've talked a lot about academic stuff. Let's talk about life. So, what is it like? I mean, what about what are some challenges that you've faced when you have gone through this journey here of study? Because everything's not rosy and hunky dory. What are some of the things that you go, man, this is I wish things a little bit different, or some challenges that would have come through in your story.
So I guess leaving from home, I got to um from Hawera to Dunedin, and then after the holes, you're kind of not on your own because you have friends with you, but you're kind of more independent, and no one's
Yes.
gonna tell you what to do. And
Yeah.
and like back in high school, like you'll get told off if you were late or you didn't show up. Back at uni, you don't like no one will tell you. It's on you, and um it's only a detriment to you if you don't pick yourself up from there. And I guess the struggles were basically well, yeah, the independence is just it's just new from high school. So yeah.
Yeah, and any other challenges? So that was obviously in your early stages, and as you started getting on with the study, and as you start navigating, getting a bit older and stuff. Any other were you close to your family, and being away was it pretty challenging and things like that there?
Yeah, it was pretty challenging. But every summer break, we have to fly back. I fly back to Hawera,
Yeah,
so um, and so it's pretty good. But sometimes it was just expensive, like the
yeah,
flights,
yeah,
especially with my I was only getting student loan, um,
yes.
so that was quite a challenge financially. Um, but they actually moved down to Dunedin
Oh,
after COVID because yeah, they I think they miss us, and my
yeah,
sister was uh, left for uni, and yeah,
yes.
I think that was a bit
Oh,
uh, they missed her. So
oh, they missed you, hey Peter. They're like, oh, we missed the sister, not you. They missed Fatima, right?
oh yeah, they probably missed me too.
Yeah. Is your sister's name Fatima? Is it that correct? Am I remembering? Is your sister's name
Oh yeah,
Fatima? Yeah.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm just trying to remember in my
Yanni,
brain. Yeah, yeah, Yanni. Yeah, that's right.
Yanni.
Yanni.
Oh, did
That's
you
it. That's
meet
right.
her as well?
I probably met her as well. Yes, I met her as well. Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Awesome. Beautiful. So I guess they moved to you. They came to you. They were like, okay, cool. Goodbye, Howrah. We're coming to Dunedin. Otipoti. Here we come. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. And as you have gone through this journey, what other things have you got up to? Because there's academic stuff, but university, as we always say, opens up a whole lot of other things that you got involved with that you were like, whoa, this is pretty cool.
Mm. Being in Dunedin, I actually got into tramping,
Yeah.
like going to like mountains and like mountains and walks and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so and I joined the OUTC to start with
Yep.
the tramping club, and
Yes.
we went to Mount Aiken and yeah, met a bunch of cool people from OUTC,
Yeah.
and what other things have I done? Um, I also got into brewing, brewing
Oh
club
yeah.
because my uh my flatmate was brewing some mead, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So I thought I'd do that as well.
That
And
must be pretty cool with your chemistry background as well. That would be pretty crazy with some ideas there.
uh, yeah, yeah, um, because my other flatmate as well, he was doing chemistry, and he was so we kind of like learned together, and
Yeah.
yeah, we made our first mead, and it was it was pretty interesting taste. Uh, but the second batch was pretty good. We added more fruits to it. And
Oh, great. So
it turned out pretty well.
are you still brewing now, or have you given that
I
up?
haven't I haven't brewed in ages because last I brewed was 2 years ago.
After, yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah, because I went to Hamilton last year, so I didn't really have
Yeah,
the opportunity
that's right.
because
That's right. Yeah.
it's a bit expensive, and I use the brewing clubs
Oh yeah.
fruits. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
But in Hamilton, I I was isolated because I didn't really know anyone in Hamilton,
Yeah.
and the closest people around me was in Hawera, which was 5 hours, I think,
Oh yeah.
around about. No, yes, yeah, I
About
think so.
3.5 hours away, I think.
3.5
3.5 hours or so.
hours, and
Yeah.
yeah, and um, yeah, don't really know anyone from Auckland. Yeah, I knew one, but they were always busy. So,
Yeah. So what is it like? So there's a cool challenge you got, and how is that like? Now that you were living at home, and then you come to a place where you start developing your own friends and your family, and then you go to a place where you know nobody. What does that like be as a young person? And I'm guessing I don't know where your girlfriend was at that time. Was she with you, or was she down in Dunedin?
um, she didn't come with because I was only there for 6 months.
Yes.
So there's no really point, and we had
Yeah.
to find a place for both of us.
Yeah.
And I was actually pretty lucky to find a place because my friend from Howard,
Yes.
his sister's husband's brother was living in Hamilton, so
Yes.
I was so that loose connection there. I was just renting under him,
Yeah.
and but yeah, in Hamilton, apart from that, I was quite isolated, and
Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't really know anyone there, so I thought I might as well do something. So I tried out my other flatmates' suggestion, try out some martial arts,
Oh yeah. Oh, awesome.
and
What did you
it
get
was
into?
cool.
What did you get into?
So I went to this place called Core MMA,
Yep.
and first I tried Muay Thai and yeah, the Krav Maga, and then um Jiu-Jitsu,
Oh
Judo,
wow. Oh, well,
Sambo.
yep.
I just tried out the places. But yeah, I just tried out the different fields, and what I enjoyed the most was judo. Was
Oh, awesome.
wearing the wearing the gi and
Yep.
how like graffiti's and yeah, and like throwing. The throwing was pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
it feels awesome throwing and being thrown.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
Crazy. Crazy.
yeah,
And did you
and
do you still carry that on, or have you stopped the judo?
um um we still I still carry it on. Um but I haven't done judo since coming back because there hasn't been a judo club.
Yep.
But we went me and my flatmate go to go do grappling, so we do jujitsu together.
Okay.
He goes like every day, I think, and I go like once or twice a week with
Oh,
him.
cool.
But yeah, it's yeah. It was well, we're gonna start judo soon. I think on Monday because that's when the judo club
Starts
starts.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I guess that would have been a good thing for you to in the isolation, I guess, to find a new skill set as well.
Yeah. I was alone, so and
Yeah.
not really doing anything. I just talked to some of my mates on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't really play much games. I just watch them play games, and
Yeah.
that gets a bit boring. So I thought I'd do something in my spare time.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
fair enough.
yeah, apart from gymming as well.
Yeah. And talking about spare time, how much spare time do you have now that when you're doing it with your PhD?
Um, pretty uh depends on how much I want to work on things.
Yeah.
Because it is quite flexible. The PhD.
And it's just pretty flexible, right? Sometimes.
It's yeah, sometimes because it's not a it's not a you have to be here. It's more
Yeah.
like get the work done.
That's right. Yeah.
And if you get the work done, you can do it pretty fast and efficiently. That
Yes.
works pretty well.
Yes.
But if you I don't know, not do anything, but you have heaps of free time, um, well, that's pretty bad. But at least you got free time. um, but yeah, if you're a bit slow, I guess, and not do stuff, it gets the work piles up because
Yeah.
there's always projects to do. So
That's right.
it gets quite busy.
That's right. It does. That's right. That's very, very true. That's very true. And as you navigate this journey, what are some learnings for you that you've had with the PhD? Because it's a whole different ball game that you can be prepared, but actually nobody prepares you for what it's actually like.
Oh, right. Um, yeah, so well, I just started basically in December, so I'm not
Yeah.
like the all knowing on it, but I guess it's just like managing your time and managing the projects efficiently and knowing what needs to be done and get it done by the deadlines.
Yeah.
Um, um, and also, uh, but yeah, basically that. And because yeah, there's talks to be done and things to be written and yeah, things to be submitted. Uh, yeah, that just needs to be done. And yeah, but this apparently a cool thing about PhD is from the guy in honors that was showing me the ropes. He was he said what he liked about most about his PhD is the travel and
Yeah.
meeting people through that travel to the
Yes.
conferences and yeah, and that's yeah, that's the PhD. Yes.
Yeah. And what is it like working in the Keith Gordon lab? I mean, obviously supervisors are a really important part of any research project. And what has that been like for you with your? So I mean, it's only a short experience, but you did your master's in this lab as well in this group. Sorry.
Mm. Yeah, I think yeah, I came back to him specifically because he's a He's been a pretty good boss so far. He doesn't growl. He doesn't like if you mess up, he understands. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And if you need help, he helps. Like he was HOD on my time and my
Yes.
honors and masters, and he always puts time aside to do the meetings and never like just randomly cancels on you, which was I think was pretty good. And yeah, um, and there's also heaps of helpful people in the group.
Yes.
Uh, uh, Dr. Sarah Miller, she was my supervisor for my master's, where Keith was co-supervisor, and yeah, she showed me the ropes on things on how to do like chemometrics and on analysis, and um, yeah, yeah, the people have just been the environment has been basically just been friendly, and
Yeah.
I like that. And yeah,
Oh, awesome. It's really cool to have a supportive environment, both with your supervisor and your and as you the word boss and your team as well. And that's awesome. And what about Filipino culture is so different and so it's food is always a big part of Filipino culture. What has it been like you in a I mean obviously I guess your family's now here, but when you first came along and you're like, whoa, this whole Filipino culture is I'm lacking that. What is that like for you as you adapted to that change?
the first thing I noticed was KFC here doesn't have rice.
Oh yeah. What?
What? Yeah, yeah, it doesn't have rice. So,
Yeah,
and yeah, not much people eat rice. So,
yeah,
but because every day we used to just eat rice in the Philippines, and yeah, here. Before coming here, my parents actually tried teaching me to eat with a fork and knife, and
yeah,
I was like, "This is so dumb because how am I gonna scrape the rice?" Um, but I just
yeah.
use a fork and spoon for the rice. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I was just talking about rice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
That's all cool.
um,
Rice is eaten by more than half the world's population, right? So if you think about China, India, Asia, Southeast Asia, it's all rice.
yeah. And the people here are quite friendly. Um, uh, Surprisingly, because I don't know, watching movies about like how like kids treat kids in like in America and stuff. It's just like I was like preparing like a not friendly environment for being different.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they were quite friendly. Quite yeah, did pretty like harmless jokes. And actually like invite me to play rugby and stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's always
Basically took me in.
I'm glad to hear that. As you say, sometimes people just say, "Oh, if you're different, you come from a different culture, it's going to be pretty challenging for you." But especially when you go to a rural-ish place. I mean, Hawera is interesting because it's big, but it's rural, but it's not. Yeah. How would you describe Hawera to someone who's never been to Hawera before?
Uh, it's Hawera.
Yeah.
So it's quite yeah, it's quite small, but it's basically a small town. Um, I think things don't really change much in there. Like it was such a crazy thing when Domino's went there. Um, yeah, things don't really change there, so it's kind of like a sleepy town.
Yeah,
But
it's
I think the mountain, like Taranaki, is beautiful. Though. Like the mountain's so nice, beaches like beautiful, and yeah, like climbing the. I haven't summited the mountain, but climbing all around the walks through there is like I think it's really cool. Taranaki, yeah.
yeah, it's really beautiful with the mountains, the manga and the mountain and the beach is pretty cool. But I always find Howard is a very interesting place, for our listeners that are not from New Zealand. Howard is it's on the west coast of the North Island, and it's about an hour away from the main city, which is New Plymouth. And I've always, this is going to sound terrible, whenever I drive into Howard, I'm like, huh, what do people actually do here? I just didn't, when you drive through Stratford or Inglewood, at least it seems like there's some sort of vibey little energy. But when I go to Howard, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. That sounds really, really biased, but that's just my opinion of when I drive into Hawera.
No, I mean that's fair enough, but there's yeah, not much going on there.
Yeah,
But what it did send me here in Dunedin,
hun-
so that
100%. It provided what it was meant to provide, which is fantastic, you know. And
yeah.
each place has its time and purpose. So where do you consider home now, Peter? Where's home for you?
I would consider home Dunedin since I've
Yeah,
been here for like as long as I've been in Hawera now.
yeah,
So, but but yeah, um, but I still talk to my friends from Hawera, um,
yes,
even though it's high school is so long ago.
yes.
Um, we always talk on Discord, and yeah, I watch them play games, sometimes play games with them, and yeah, yeah, we don't really, uh, yeah, and sometimes I go back to Howard to see them,
Okay, cool.
um, yeah,
So
because
there's still a connection then.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of my friends is still in Howard, but a bunch have moved to Christchurch, so
Okay.
I see them from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome, Peter. Peter, we've been speaking for about 45 minutes now. So
Oh,
we'll
geez.
guess, yeah, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm going to ask you our last question. Unless there's something else you want to elaborate on, which I haven't touched on. Anything else that I haven't touched on that you would like to share with us before I ask you my last question?
Uh, um, not really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry at all. It's always interesting being on a podcast. It's a fun episode, fun experience. I think. Well, I hope it's a fun experience. The question I have for you is our podcast is called Baskets of Knowledge, and every week we invite our guests to share a piece of knowledge to put into our basket. So myself and Tane and our listeners, and this could be a piece of knowledge from your PhD experience, from your life experience, anything that you think would resonate with anyone out there that you have that you live by, I guess.
Oh, okay. Um, so not like from my research or
It can be
like
anything.
baskets of
It could be
it could
anything,
be anything like
anything to share.
wisdom, like
Any
Google
piece of
type.
any piece of wisdom from your life, something that when things are challenging for you, what's it up for you, or the way you look at life, yeah, whatever you think is your basket of knowledge to share.
Um, from my experience, things just when things happen, um, it usually other things happen after it. So even if things don't work out, like friendships die off, or you didn't get that, like um, or yeah, just when things happen, other things like good things still happen, even though bad things happen with it. Like for example, I wasn't like for my physics, uh, my time in undergrad, I was struggling with physics, and even though I was interested in it and like I didn't further pursue with a physics degree. Um, it still worked out because I instead pursued other things instead. So I guess yeah, when bad things happen, it doesn't mean it's the end of the
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that because life things are going to happen in life. They're going to challenge us. This is life. There's no one that goes through life unscathed with bad things happening. So I think I love that. When bad things happen, somewhere along the line, there's going to be something good that comes up. It might be the next day. It might be in 2 weeks' time. It might be in a year's time. But sometimes that bad thing that happens could be the catalyst for the good thing that happens later on. So you don't know what you don't know. So, yeah, that's a very beautiful piece of wisdom because we all go
yeah.
through that. We all go through that. We all go through those difficult times. And in that moment, in that moment when you were like, oh, physics, I don't know, it would have been felt really hard for you and really overwhelming for you, but you made the decision at that point in time, and here you are right now. So it's pretty cool. That happens to all of us. I think that's something for everyone that's listening out there. When you're having that bad moments, it's okay to feel shitty and feel like, oh, the world is going to end and it's not the right thing. But if you just go through that and feel through that, the change will come. So yeah, that is very beautiful. Beautiful, Peter. Anything else you'd like to add
Yeah.
before we round up, Peter?
Um, no, that's about it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I've
thank you
never
for
done anything like this before, so
Yeah, this could be the start of your major talk show routine, which is great.
So,
Yeah. So everyone else out there, thank you for listening to this podcast. Yeah, thank you, Peter, for jumping on. Like I said, it's pretty cool for me to see full circle. I saw reflecting back when I would have mentioned Hawera High School, which doesn't exist anymore. It's got a different name now.
oh yeah.
And also, your sister, which is pretty crazy. And just seeing your name and it popped up in the email, I was like, oh, I'm sure I recognize that. It's really cool hearing your story, hearing how you've gone from Harvard, you've done your undergrad, you've done your honors, you've done your master, you've done some work experience, and now you are doing your PhD. So it's pretty cool. I look forward to seeing what happens next in this next cool journey of yours. Yeah, to our listeners out there, thank you for jumping on. Hopefully you have learned something from Peter's story. Hopefully you have listened to his piece of knowledge, which is pretty awesome. And if you haven't learned something, please go back and listen again because I'm sure there's something you'll be able to pick up. Till next time, everybody, ka kite, be safe, and don't forget to put something in your past of knowledge. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Baskets of Knowledge.
Yeah, we hope that you found something useful to put into your basket of knowledge. And as we said before, remember to put something little into your baskets of knowledge every week. And as always, feel free to like, comment, and share this podcast. Thanks, everybody. Bye.